Good morning, everybody. Auronnj here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are doing part 2 of our new winter unit review. Well, at least new for us. Yeah, winter unit review. And we're going to do Christmas Viktora today. The unit I was originally the most hyped about of the two. I might be more hyped about Venera going forward, although don't let that make you think Viktora's not good, because she's really good. Yeah, we're going to talk about what I'm using her as right now, just kind of do the normal stuff, right? We're going to put her in some fights. I'm going to show off what she can do. But first, there's an important thing with her. I want to talk about what isn't working with Winter Viktora right now. Put that on the screen. Saintly Wall is not working. This is one of the reasons that I've cooled on her a little bit. This was going to be, if you don't know, you can see Saintly Wall on the screen, right? It's a shield, reduces physical damage 50% for 3 turns. This, in my opinion, was going to be her best sub-job and her best sub-job skill, because it was going to allow her to function as like your most forward gunner to, again, help your team get spread out. It was going to be a way to like work some cool team comps in, but the AI just won't use this yet. Now, keep in mind when I'm doing this review, I'm going to assume a couple things. I'm going to assume, one, that they're going to fix her AI at some point, and it's going to function like other Paladin sub-jobs, where it will use this ability early in a fight before it uses Sentinel or something like that. And that, two, I'm not assuming that they did this on purpose. It seems really weird. Why give her the ability if she won't ever use it? Like, I kid you not. She will just do nothing instead. You'll have this on, she'll move forward and be like, nah, I'm good. I don't need a shield. I'm a ranger. LOL. So yeah, I'm going to assume those two things, and I'm going to factor that into my scores at the end, assuming that it gets fixed someday. So, okay, that's enough of that. Let's talk about some positive things. I'm going to talk about builds that I like for her right now the way she is. And I think she's great right now the way she is, by the way. So first up, she's a good unit to use Tide Ring on, because Tide Ring stacks that extra attack. It brings 80 itself. Now, she's not going to get all 80. She's only going to get 40, but that's still 40 more attack. For a unit like Christmas Viktora here, we want to stack attack very high because she has a lot of defense penetration. So it doesn't matter if you're penetrating a bunch of defense if you don't do a bunch of damage. With her being a ranged unit, I think she's a very good candidate for Tide Ring to help push that damage a little higher, and then it gives her those resists, it gives her those other stats. It's a really good item, and I think she's a good candidate for it. On the bottom of the screen right now, you're seeing the 2 team comps that I've liked with her the most so far, and the 2 I'm going to show off in videos later. That's her, another sniper, Nivlu, and a tank. That's her, the same Nivlu with some skill adjustments, and Frederica. These have been my favorite 2 comps with her, and she's really great in them, and I'll show those off in a little bit more detail when we actually get into the team building part. Next, let's look at her stats in these groups as a full DPS. This is her stat page from the gunner group, where she's getting maximum damage stats from like Ifrit and her gear and all that. So you can see she gets to 904 attack in that group, which, spoiler alert, is plenty of damage to one-shot squishy targets and just wreck tanks with all that defense pin. I run some kind of agility item in her 3rd slot to put her agility where I want it to be, and I run the platinum bow for that more defense pin. Quick look at her main job. I have everything on, but I highlighted their Dispel Spread because that's the ability she likes to use the most. It's kind of like the way other AIs use Taunting Blade, like Paladins, because it hits in an AoE and does that large damage. I love this move. It's great for removing buffs. It just wrecks. So it's awesome. Now, she also likes to use the rest of those appropriately, especially Barrier Break Arrow, when another unit like an Agrius has their shield on, or Warrior of Light, or somebody like that. So her main job, great. It's a great main job. Target is a way of even increasing her defense pin more, and she'll use that sometimes. Now, I'm using Sniper as her sub-job right now. Quick caveat here, if you use her Gunner sub-job, it increases her AoE. I'm going to factor that into her score a little bit. Like on shorter maps, if you want her running up and shooting multiple people, that Gunner sub-job is like a good short-range AoE thing. But that's not what I like the most. I like Sniper the most because of target share. Target share allows her to buff the attack of her teammates. This works really well when you're running her with like a gunner that can buff missile attack, those two buffs have great synergy. So you're buffing regular attack stat, missile attack, it's further upping her damage, giving her more ability to one-shot squishies and kill those tanks. And I also have arm shot on because, disables OP. Alright, real quick, when you're talking about this unit, you must talk about defense penetration a little bit. I'm using the Platinum Bow on her, and I'm using the Assault version. I'm going to highlight right here one of her support abilities that I use basically all the time, and her main job ability that also gives her defense pin. Alright, for the Platinum Bow, I think you run the Assault version, just get more attack. I'm telling you, stack attack as high as you can on this girl. Boost her damage, kill those tanks fast. And you get 20 defense pin from this bow, which just synergizes really well with her. Okay, with her main job, if you can get her AI to cast Target on herself, it'll give her more range and 40 more defense pin. Alright, so with the bow and that, you're at 60. Now look over to her support ability. You can run Tune-Up. That's 12% more agility. Hey, we like that speed boost. And 40 more defense pin. You're at 100. 100 defense penetration. That is fantastic. Okay, I think we've done enough of like the pre-game stuff here. Let's go into fighting now. Let's throw her into the arena and see what she can do, not on paper, but in practice. Okay, so our first team comp that I want to show off today is a triple missile comp. Now, you can swap out like some missile units for other missile units. Like, that's up to you. It depends on what your account has and what you're going for. But what I'm focusing on here is that all three of these units, for one, have resonance with a missile attack or water attack Esper for, Viktora here, and that they all three have different buffs that they could contribute early. I don't want one of them not being able to buff because somebody else did it and they run forward and die. We don't want that. They're going to all buff differently. Viktora's going to buff attack, Frederica's going to buff missile attack, and Nivlu's going to be our time mage. So you could take this team into almost anything. Like, this first person on the list right here, sure, this is Laswell plus, like, 2 missile units. We'll just swing at these guys and see how we do. Now, what can happen to us? What can happen to them? What do we want to happen? Here's what we want. We want our movement and speed to be such that our units move correctly, like next to each other, and spend their first turns buffing. Let the enemy advance towards us into range. Then when they get there, drop our AoEs on them, drop our shield breaks on them, and burn them down. Alright, there's the attack buff from Viktora. There's the missile buff from Frederica. Nivlu has haste. Now, in a tank comp with Nivlu, I'm probably going to want her casting Quicken on my tank. In a missile comp, I don't want one of them going significantly faster than the other. I want them chaining, I want them comboing with each other, so haste is more conducive to that, while also speeding us up at least a significant amount. Alright, there's Dispel Spread, one shot. That was like 5,000 damage. Now, that was only a level 8, 89 DPS unit, but 5,000 damage is legit, especially for a unit that doesn't rock a ton of attack. Alright, our missile unit, Nivlu, barely survives, might have died to a level 99, but did not die there. Okay, we're shooting Laswell, we've burned off his shield already, we combo him 1-2. That's how this team works. Like, it's pretty dang simple. The enemy runs at you, you shoot them on the way, and if you kill them before they get to you, you win. Missile teams aren't complicated. You figure out those first turns, and the rest of the map just works itself out. Like, maybe we would have lost a unit if the enemy would have been level 99, but we didn't because they weren't, and we won. So cool. That was a great first fight. Let's look at another comp for Viktora to be in and talk about that. All right, for our second fight, we're going to take Frederica out, and we're going to run a double sniper comp with Winter Viktora and Nivlu, and then we're going to run a tank with Agrius. So let's look at that real quick and see what it looks like. Couple things. One, with Nivlu, we don't want just haste. We want to go to Time Mage here, and we want to turn Quicken back on. The goal of this comp is get Agrius ahead of the team early. This lets Nivlu and Viktora stand back, do their buffs, and then move up when it's safe, the enemy's wasted their AP, etc. Agrius is going to run Vow of Love just to make sure she can get that initial hate in case she doesn't use Taunting Blade. Maybe she'll use her Limit Break. I don't really want to turn that stuff off because it's so good. But if we get her forward enough, she'll bait out the attacks no matter what. So no big deal. For Viktora, same build as last time, except we swapped in Odin for a little bit more tankiness for Agrius, a little more damage for her. We're getting attack from this and missile from this. Basic stuff. Okay. I do want to change... No, let's go have a fight. Okay, so for our second fight, we have found Warrior of Light, Ildira, Winter Viktora. Tank, calculator, range, DPS. It's just like kind of a standard, I got a tank, I got a DPS, and I'm going to heal team. Fine. What do we want our team to do? Well, what they're going to do, because we've worked it out right, is Agrius is going to start the game by buffing herself. While she's buffing herself and taking that first turn, Nivlu's going to be charging a Quicken. So Agrius is just going to get back-to-back turns for us. That's important because it separates her from the team. It'll keep our gunners from getting targeted by AoEs, like Wateraga is not going to randomly kill us. Warrior of Light's Limit Break, if he does it, probably not going to hit a gunner. Viktora won't be able to AoE our Viktora, etc. You see what I'm talking about. So Agrius has moved forward once. She took the third turn on our team, and she will then take the fourth turn on our team. She moves forward, Taunting Blade, boom, she's got all the aggro she needs for this fight, and she's not standing next to anybody. Mission accomplished. Now, Nivlu is going to get kind of cute here. Her next Quicken is usually on to Viktora. So Viktora moves up, shoots Warrior of Light. Nivlu's like, hey, do you want to do that again? Have a Quicken. And Viktora's like, oh, I will just build my own little chain on Warrior of Light here, and almost kills him. So Ildira into healing mode. Not a ton of healing there. Enemy Viktora shooting our tank. Cool. We can live with that. Agrius moves up. Slap. Nivlu's like, hey, I'm in range now. Double kill. Because, you know, Nivlu got that element advantage. Viktora back to buffing. We're building our AP back up. And look, it worked out. Agrius has taken every attack from the enemy team. A lot of those attacks were like AoE attacks, but it doesn't matter because she's far away from us. And yes, Quicken is just a broken ability. Like, it's so good. So we're not quite in range to do anything yet. We get the bells off a little late, but you know, sometimes that's how the fight works. This could kill Agrius. It does. But you know, Ildira is short for this world. Goodbye. And that's a win. So we got the W. Was that as strong as the triple missile team? Maybe not. I actually think the triple missile team is better on this map, but we're also getting missile buff on this map. This team is probably better for like a Guild Wars defense, or a map where you don't get a massive missile buff. You see what I'm talking about. Okay, I think we've showed off what Winter Viktora can do, mostly by having her in like different comps. She could solo carry in theory, but I think she really works best with another damage unit. Let's move on to giving her a grade, talking about where she fits in the game right now, and just wrapping up this video. Alright, so we got to see her wrecking some people, and I'm telling you, like, maybe she just synergizes really well with the meta right now, but I'm really liking this unit. Let's put her scores on the screen. Let's talk about what my grade for her is. We'll start with damage. Damage, I'm going to give her a 92. She does a lot of damage. I was unsure about this before I built her because I was like, how good is defense penetration? Like, defense is a weird stat, you guys. It's not that like one-to-one thing like other stats are in this game. There's either diminishing returns or just some formula that I don't fully have fleshed out, but defense pen does seem to work well, and she does a ton of damage. So I'm going to give her a 92. Not the most damage in the game. She's not Ruinstern, but she does plenty. AoE ability, 88. She has enough AoE to be dangerous to closely grouped targets. Now, she's not a mage. She's not soccer out here. So I just give her an 88. She can hit those small AoE abilities. Cool. Utility. I'm going to give her a 90 here. I think she's outshone by Nivlu in utility when you're talking like sniper versus sniper. But basically all of her attacks do something to the enemy it's hitting. And she has decent buffs for herself and her team. So I'm willing to give her an A on utility. And 90 might seem low when we're talking about like the massive score I gave to Nivlu, the other sniper, but it's still a really good score. And she brings really nice utility to the team. Movement, I'm going to give her a 90 again. I don't want her having a lot of move because that might get her in trouble. But she has move 3, jump 2. So she's going to be able to find where she wants to be while also staying at range. I'm just going to give her 90. I really like her movement. It seems to work well on the maps we have right now, and I haven't got to see her on other maps yet, so 90. Speed, 90. She's pretty fast. She's not Nivlu fast, but she's pretty dang fast. Durability. Now remember, these scores are anticipating her someday having her paladin job. I'm going to give her an 80, which is a pretty dang high score for a sniper. She's not an 80 right now. Right now she's like a 65. She's squishy as heck. But unless it's a, Lancer unit or something. But when she gets her paladin buff and she can put that shield on herself, when that works, I think she'll increase to an 80, which brings me to an overall score of 90. I think if I had to rate her 1-to-1 compared to Nivlu, the other sniper, I'd rather have Nivlu than Christmas Viktora. But I do love having them both, and I like running them both together, and she's a really good unit who we got at a massive discount. So if you got her, she's super usable, and I hope you're enjoying using her as much as I have been. If you're thinking about getting her still, we still have a little bit of time, and you're going to use some Amazon coins, I'm going to shout out my Amazon affiliate link. You guys have been hooking me up with that. I really appreciate it. Keep that up if you would. And that's it, you guys. That's the video. Christmas Viktora is great. I loved reviewing both of them, and I hope you liked them. If you did, toss me a like, toss me a subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.